All right, welcome to our watch list build. We're trying to do this daily. Um, Ideally, we wouldn't have the thing that's going to rear its ugly head tomorrow, called the Jackson Hole event, basically. So we're expecting that to tear the market up. This market has been certainly choppy this week, but man, it's been a dream for some of us traders. Man, we've been making some really good moves. Um, Particularly, we got this AA setup. This is Alcoa. And I was talking about initially when we set up the watch list for this one, we were looking at a bullish swing trade setup. We wanted to see a close above 54 for a gap fill with a range trade up to 55.50 with a second target of 61.20. You can see that all worked out beautifully. And check it out. Look at that really clean looking measured move, man. Perfect. So we hit that low, got that nice swing up, attacked that 54 in the day there. And then yesterday it closed above 54. That was the swing trade setup to enter long. And this was your measured move. So target one nailed. Target two extensions, very possible here. We got another point of resistance up above at about 57 if this trend continues. But I would almost certainly expect a pullback today or tomorrow. And with the Jackson Hole thing, we could see some interesting stuff happen. And this is all kicked off just by a little news event. I mean, a bunch of European smelters decided to shut the doors for a while until they could, afford to produce with enough margin to pay their electric bill, because energy is quite expensive over there, as you can imagine right now. And essentially, that range is pretty much defined. We've already made one good trade out of it. If you wanted to stay long here, you could, but I would say it might be prudent to consider taking profit on that trade today if you can, and then wait until tomorrow gives you a sign of continuation or a reversal. We are kind of up into the upper band here. We're at that pivot point just under that control zone for that big old bar there. I mean, the risk to reward ratio is still with us on this. We could the risk is coming back down and closing the gap down here like 52.75. The reward is we get a pretty nice move from $56 to $62. So all things considered, kind of do what you will with that, but that is going to be something I'm going to take a little risk off and probably leave a small position on through tomorrow, but I'll probably add to it or close it tomorrow if things get really bad. We'll see how it goes. That is Alcoa. Great moves, great chart, real easy read, and man, just a perfect swing trade. Tesla. We were closing on that time where we were knowing that they were going for that 3-to-1 split. We knew it would be around $300 range when it all settled. We saw this nice run up yesterday on the hype. Basically, that's kind of expected on a split, whether it's a reverse split or a forward split. Typically, you'll see some excitement the day before. We certainly did, and of course, it faded the entire day and closed just under its open yesterday. Pretty neat, right? So let's look to the right and see where we're at today, since I don't see anything until open as far as small term charts go. Probably get a 1 minute chart. All right, there's some certain volatility there, but a lot of it just faded. And we got as low as 291. So weighing the difference, if we closed, around 9 something yesterday, I think it was. Let's see. Dig around here. 890-ish, whatever. I didn't pay attention too much to it because I knew today would be the day to get in on trade, if anything. Look at that beautiful measured move, two-legged setup right at the open. Boom, just straight on down. Pause. You could have easily got short here on this leg, walked it down. Instead, we did it in the ES and SPY this morning. We nailed a bunch of that action. No problem in our day trading. Swing trading, nothing doing until we see a support zone. And we're talking kind of in that area now. Again, I want to wait and see what tomorrow shakes out, but you could get into some pretty cool positions with Tesla selling credit spreads. You could do debit spreads to the upside, downside, whatever you want to do, not a problem. But daily chart's going to give you all the clues you need for that. So we got this really nice pennant forming here anyway. We knew that was there. We talked about that yesterday and the day before a little bit. We had 50% channel retrace. This is the channel. There's your retracement. We're forming a big bull flag right on that pennant after a bull trend. One of two things will happen. You'll get a measured move out of this to the upside, cap that at about 382, 383. Or if it gets rejected and breaks angular support, breaks about that 290 area, that could get bearish and eat up the control zones to your left. Lock down all those candles, day trade the snot out of it. I was going to say the electrons out of it. That would have been too dad jokey, but get into it, run it, but wait for the signal tomorrow. I think will be the day. That'll give us a good read on that. Natural gas. We had a headline come out saying that U.S. is considering cutting the supply chain going to export gas or natural gas, liquid natural gas in particular, to the greater of Europe. But we've got two established sets of trade ideas here. Let me zoom way out on a daily chart. We're extended like no other right now, right? Had a pretty good, decent measured move setup, but then today, kind of threatening that 8 period. I love that 8 period, by the way. Stone will tell you all about that in a minute. But looking at this, we've got potential for a measured move up to that 37.40, 37.45 target. Just fine. We can consider that. However, that news kind of put a chink in the armor, so to speak. So they're trying to control these out of control increase in natural gas prices. And anytime the government steps in and does something with anything, you know how the government works. So if we close a doji today, we get kind of a setup where we can either leg up or leg down into the open tomorrow. We'll figure that out. We'll get a good signal on that tomorrow, I'm sure. But we've got two things that'll happen. Either we get the morning star, we get nice downward candle, doji, upward candle off the 8 period, caps out at the top of the first downward candle, right? 34.15, right in here. Quick little morning star setup. We could also get a measured move out of this, and that would take us down to the 20 period. Pretty easy. We get the old bar spinner bar pattern. So watch today's close. I'm going to give you a good clue. If it starts to spike up towards the end of the day, you could certainly day trade that right up to that level. Not a problem. But be aware that tomorrow is going to be the day that everything's going to be kind of topsy-turvy and maybe come unglued. The market's going to move. We just don't know exactly which way yet. Let's just say that this did set up a morning star. We could get a push above to an extension about 35.10 or so, and then a breakover for a pullback. That'd be healthy. Then we can have a chance at continuing our measured move. Otherwise, if it rejects that and breaks down into a measured move down, that's going to be more than a pullback and no more bull trade. But then we can go into bearish trades. Those are always fun. All right. The other thing I wanted to go over, and mainly today is going to be more of a review day because of the whole situation with tomorrow, but we still have plenty of price action we can trade, right? So let's have a little look at this. We've got AMD. I didn't give an alert in our end because I wasn't 100% sure about this, but it was definitely one to keep on the watch. It was a nice bearish overnight swing when I made the alert on this one, or made the build list on this one, the watch list on this one. Worked out pretty good, hit a level we knew where control was, even exceeded it a little bit. Great little bearish overnight trade. That was, close at time, sit on your hands, wait for the next move. Well, capped up in today's market on the open, just gapped up right back to a key pivot area. And I'll show you the daily chart and show you where those came from. Now we're forming a pennant. We could get a measured move out of this to the bull side. Very possible. There's a 2-hour 200 period right there. You can see price just kind of loves to stop on those and hang out for a minute, maybe fill up the tank. You could get the two-legged move out of this. You could get a bar spinner bar on a 2-hour chart, which would give you a clean shot running up to the top of that pivot, about $98, maybe a little extended to like 99, whatever. If it breaks 100, it's a critical level. We got this descending channel here, and a control zone, 50% retracement would be about $100, and the extension would be about 108. If we set up this trend as a measured move here, you see the pullback, we're talking 125 right to the top of the channel. So give that a watch. Definitely keep it on your radar. It's going to do some things. And if this pattern doesn't fail to be a measured move setup, it can certainly be bearish. It can certainly go and check these gap levels here, trade between the pivots, run down, retrace, test the support of R1 and a little double bottom here on a breakover, whatever. You got all kinds of things you can link to the previous price action where you can see all the control levels. Put it on your list to watch today because that's going to be something to see after tomorrow, I think. Anyway, that about wraps it up. We got some stuff moving. We got some good setups. We got a little news thing tomorrow. Once we stumble through that, we've got some good stuff to look at. And then what do you think about that 8 period, Stone? I love hearing what you say about it.
Eight period is great. I was, Bullish Bears are riding the 9. I love that. But when you started using the 8 period, I changed to the 8 period after following you for a while because it is.
It's just amazing how easily you can predict price action off the 8 period, even on a daily chart. I mean, it's just, when the trend changes, even if it's a short-term trade, like a trend like a pullback or something. On every time frame, you can see things happening with the 8 period. And gosh, you get into a 1-minute chart, and if you're a day trader like me, dude, that thing is your best friend. The minute you crack running bullish from here, as soon as that trend stops tapping off that 8 period for support right here, boom, you're out. Done deal. And it works on all time frames. And you can go and look at different time frames together. You can put AMD on a 4-position grid, run like, a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute. And you can see the longer term trade set up while you're watching it. So like you could maximize your entries and exits on your swing trades, and you can see them coming, and you know where the control zones are. And then you combine that with your 8 period analysis to know when the trend breaks or when it turns around or when it pulls back. Dude, that's the best thing ever. And then this mess right here, that's your no-go zone. You just sit there and let that shake out till it finds a direction. It might break over into a bear trend. You might get a quick little measured move out of that right to the pivot, 95.20. Easy peasy, right? Watch it. When you see it, you'll recognize it. And when you start to get the practice on it, it just becomes second nature. You literally just trade instinctively. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our watch list build today. And tomorrow I'll probably have a little bit better things to say, maybe. And hopefully we get a nice setup of direction tomorrow and we can start continuing our weekend holds for our weekend swings. And next week is another week. See you guys. Anytime. Have a great, guys.
Hey, you guys watch.